What's up, everybody? My name is Jason, and welcome to Small Biz. In today's video, I'm going to tell you why the Muln trade is over, and you should have made at least 30% on your money. What in the world happened to Wisa after our 157% profit? And is it really true that I'm telling people inside of the Discord that I'm not buying anything at all? All that and more coming right up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, happy Tuesday. We're coming up on the 1 o'clock hour. Last trade on Muln, 18.5. If you followed my advice in the last two videos, you were using a tight trailing stop. 2 videos ago, I said there was a bullish outside reversal and a big fuck you to the haters that keep dropping a pile of dung on my wall. But 2 videos ago, I said bullish outside reversal at 157 on Muln. You then had a crank over the next 2 or 3 days to as high as 213. I said in multiple occasions, use a tight stop in one example of 3%. It never pulled back more than 3% in the move from the bullish outside reversal at 157 all the way to 213. But you then had a yank down of over 5.5%. So -3, hell, let's round it off to -5 from 213. You'd have been out at 2025. Thank you very fucking much for the 30% on your money in less than 3.5 days. The obvious question, if you're still holding a bag, and I do have empathy for folks that are buried in the stock. I gave 50 to 100 videos of my life to try to get this company to do the right thing. But as far as I'm concerned, they're failing on just about every level, including the hiring of the new lawyer. But ask yourself this question. He may be a highly qualified lawyer, and I'm certainly that he is. But they're going to go after or examine the financing? Really? Aren't 2 of the guys, one of which went to jail and one that was indicted last March, aren't they friends of David? Hasn't he known him for a number of years? So what are they going to do? Lock those guys up again in one case? I don't buy it for a fucking second. And the market's telling you that right now, right? You had the bullish outside reversal at 15.7. Take the emotion out of the stock. Although I got plenty of it today, it broke out. It marched all the way up to 213. If you were using a tight stop, you made 30% or thereabouts on your fucking money, and then boom. Down to, I think, 1813. It's been bouncing around. It gave up half the gains. So any technician worth a shit, and I'm not talking about you pronoun-wearing basement motherfucking dwellers that are in your mother's house over on StockTwits right now, carrying a bag that's down 90-some-odd%. I'm talking about technicians like myself that have got a 92.4% win rate. Wait for it, for an 82.7 win rate in the last 12 motherfucking months. You gave up half the move. You can talk Fibonacci this or freakinacci that. The bottom line is flip a coin. You went from 15 and change to 21 and change. You're at 18 and change. Right now on the daily stochastics, you're at 56, which is slightly more than 2/3 of the way up the turn. The market is telling you, the stock is telling you, the fucking chart is telling you it's unsure where it wants to go. It's probably going to be dependent on news. I don't know. Why in the world did they extend the quiet period or the blackout for over 4 months? Why is it suddenly December the 29th? And why is there only 1 or 2 days of leeway in terms of you got to get up and over $1 organically before the end of the NASDAQ deadline? Ask yourself that question and a million more. And by the way, is that revenue going to Elms or is it actually going to go into the bottom line this quarter for Mullins? We don't know. It wasn't in the fucking press release. They give you just enough to get the stock moving, but then they take it away. It's like the fucking... Sorry, Mom. It's like the girl that you went over to her house when you were a kid. You're a teenager, right? The hormones are raging, right? She comes out of the bedroom. Parents are in the other room. Oh, yeah, I'm going there. Parents are in the other room. TV's on. She unbuttons the blouse. She may have changed into a more comfortable pair of those boy shorts, right? You think you're getting some, but all of a sudden she keeps looking at her watch and she goes, you know, sweetie, I got to get up early in the fucking morning. And you're thinking, what? Right? What? That's Muln. Where else are you going to get this kind of entertainment? This kind of education? Stick around to the end. This kind of making money. Do you know that we're 16-2 even after we sold those 2 fucking pigs for over 600% since March? Excuse me. Seems like that. Since November? In the last 6 weeks, we racked up 16 winners, including WISA, in at 13, out at 34. Last trade, 15 on the nose. Are you fucking kidding me? So I'm trying to reach, I don't know, maybe 5 or 10% of you that have some semblance of sanity left. You haven't drank the Kool-Aid. You're not working on another fucking batch. You're not willing to go down Jim Jones style like most of the clowns that you see in fucking Reddit or StockTwits or even on Twitter. Right? They're so blind. We all know that they're taking Chinese vans and putting a logo on. I knew that from the beginning. You could probably have a solid commercial business that way, but what are you going to do when the money runs out? And do you really have faith that they're going to do a tiny reverse split when supposedly their last lawyer from 6 months ago wanted them to go bigger so they wouldn't be in this fucking predicament? Last trade 182 in the first place? Believe me when I tell you this before I move on. And again, in case you didn't fucking hear me, the trade is over. You made another 30% if you followed my advice. You flip a coin from here. You get up and through 21 and a half, it's bullish. You go back down and through 16, it's fucking bearish. You're stuck in the middle waiting to see what the fuck happens. But if I'm trading the stock, I was out in the low to mid 20s. Half of you are welcome to log off right now. You remember when you were a kid and that happened? Major. Pitch in a tent. Like, what? If you ever ask yourself, and you're still here with us, thank you very much for your support. Without you, I can't do this. Why I've lost over 100 people in the last 12 months that refused to pay me less than $2 a day, and we got whales making over $100,000 a month. You just saw a fucking story. So I'd watch this video again, maybe share it with a friend. If they got a sense of humor, invite them to join us at trysmallbiz.com. Premium if you got a small business, Discord if you don't. Trysmallbiz.com. And before I forget, and talk about some very important risk management and why I'm not buying anything right now, I've made a decision to wait on sending almost 12,000 emails to current members of trysmallbiz.com. About 500 have a premium and or a Discord, which means over 95%, let's call it 11,500-ish, do not have anything other than a free profile. They're hiding out in the back, getting absolutely no exposure. Over 92% of all qualified leads go to premium members that are on the front page or have that beautiful border. First to come up and search, it says a premium member that we highly recommend. But I'm going to do a short video, excuse me, in the first week of January. And I'm going to say, here's why you might want to consider upgrading your account. I would expect several dozen, who knows, maybe 100 of them to come pouring into the Discord by way of Discord and or premium, which again is at trysmallbiz.com. But I want to do another video on risk management. I want to do another video on investing and trading and why it's important to have both. I want to stack the tutorial section. Yeah, slow down, Jason. Section. Why would I say that? Section of the server and make sure that everyone's in there is fully up to speed on what the fuck is going on. You understand my personality. You got a 60-day money-back guarantee. A couple dozen have quit. Snowflakes. One guy told me, I'm selling everything even though you're a pretty decent guy. You know what you're talking about. I'm putting it into Ripple. Ripple hasn't moved a fucking inch. And before I forget, Bitcoin is 75% of the way through. To use a baseball analogy, it's the 7th inning stretch. I was telling people at 24.5 on the retest when Kramer was telling you to sell everything in terms of crypto, that was simply a retest of what was resistance should now become support. And if I'd have said to you, be honest with me, back then when it was 24.5, knocking on heaven's door, I'll give you 43,300 right now. Will you take it? Done. If you're a trader or even a Bitcoin investor, you would have probably said, in most cases, sold. You more than doubled or almost doubled from that level. All these shit coins that I'm not even going to mention that are up 200, 300, 400%, you're 75, 80% of the way through this rally. There's going to be a dogfight at 46K on Bitcoin. Can it go through? Sure. But most of the easy money has already been made. That said, I'm a blockchain bull. I think Bitcoin's going well north of 100,000 in the next 2 or 3 years, probably $250,000-ish. by the end of the decade, maybe even higher. But it's not going to be without 20, 30, 40% drawdowns. And you know that to be the case if you're in the crypto space. All right. Why am I not buying any stock? I've been doing this 30 years. Yeah, we've heard this before. Half is at a broker from 93 to 2007. I have an intuition, a Rolodex of 10,000 fucking trades. Not bad for a collared shirt, huh? And it's telling me to be careful. Do you remember 2018, the Christmas massacre? About this time, we started to go into a slide, and it was a nasty fucking dip of 9% before we bottomed. I believe it was the day before, a day of Christmas Eve. Then we had somewhat of a ramp the final week. But I got that going off. I've looked at 25, 30 charts in the last 24 hours. Nothing looks good. Look at what we've had in terms of what we made money. Wisa, one example. Round trips. Red Hill, holy shit, right? Look at what they've come. 60, 65, come. 70% off of where they were at their peak about a week ago. The market's telling you it's running on fumes. And even though 5 of our 7 core holdings are doing just fine, we're underwater on 1 or 2. You know what they are? I'm not in a rush to buy anything. I'm also not in a rush to all the Debbie Downer glass half full motherfuckers that are actually in our Discord to sell. Why would I want to sell the food stock? Oh, you should have got out at 17. Last trade 15 and a half. We own it at 14, high 13s actually. It's already telling us it's a winner. What are you going to buy if we sold it yesterday at 17? Assuming you got the ultimate fucking top. Or the biotech stock that was at 60, last trade 64 and a quarter. What are you going to buy with the money? I don't see any good alternatives. In both of those cases, our averages are 10 or 15% below where they are right now, pulling back on what? A 10th or an 1/8 of normal volume? Sometimes you have to realize that when you go 16-2, or rack up 16 winners, including one yesterday, of plus 157% in Wisa, and then suddenly the stock gives back 90% of its gains, just like many of the other stocks, including some of which that you own, the market's telling you it's tired. So in my opinion, in closing, we may not make little or any progress from here until the end of the year. Right now on the Dow, the daily stochastics is way overbought. It's going sideways at 90 or thereabouts for almost a week. It's saying that at some point in the next 1 to 3 weeks, we're going to roll over. It will not surprise me if hedge funds are hedging, covered calls, puts in some cases, just so they can ride out the balance of the year and collect that big bonus, which for Wall Street comes in February. The last thing they want is what happened in 2018. The reason why I think we're likely not to have a crash like that, quite possible to have a 2 or 3% give back even from here, is look at the job openings number today. It was weak. Crypto's melting on the Fed is done. Interest rates, 150, 200 basis point cuts will start in March or April. They're going to jack up M2, which about a month ago was at a 40-year low. It's telling you, so along with gold too, it's telling you here comes the juice. They're front running the fucking Fed, and they front run 3/4, in my opinion, of what the rally is actually going to be. You may have to buy the rumor, which we've had over the last few weeks, sell the news, whether it's now or most likely in January, and 3 out of the 5 last Januaries have been scary. So if you got 10 or 20% cash because you sold the pump in that 8-cent stock in the pre-market at 11 or 12, you're fucking welcome. And if it's me, I'm not buying it back. I'm not in a rush. If you're new inside of the Discord, pay attention to the limits. If it says limit 18, you do not pay more than 18 cents. But I'm adding small, real small. I am not in a rush. In fact, if I can go into the end of the year selling 1 or 2 of these others that might pump between now and New Year's Eve with 20 to 30% cash, I'm going to be happier than a motherfucking pig in shit. So until next time, always remember that I love you, and thank you so much for watching.